rumors of wars. Ain't that what's happening right now?
That's right.
So we're going to heal the hood, and we're going to self-improve to get into this new kingdom that's coming in. So with that being said, let me bring up our brother Herman Muhammad.
Let's keep it going for Brother Gerald, please. Let me first start by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. As students of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and as Muslims, we thank Allah for all of his servants and all of the scriptures that they brought. We thank Allah for Abraham and Moses and the Abrahamic prophets and the scripture, the Holy Torah or the Old Testament. We thank Allah for Jesus of 2,000 years ago. We thank him for his disciples. We thank him for the revelation of the Injil or the Gospel, the New Testament. We thank Allah for Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah of 1400 years ago and the divine revelation of the Holy Quran Sharif. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of these worthy servants of his. As students of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we can never thank Allah enough for his divine intervention in our affairs. Our affairs. Black people in the hills of North America, in the divine person of Master Farad Muhammad, whom we believe to be the great Messiah of the Christians and the Jews, and the Mahdi of the Muslims. We thank Allah for raising up from amongst us a Georgia-born black man, small in stature, but a giant amongst our people.
Yes, sir.
A beautiful black man whom we knew at one time as Mr. Muhammad. Then we knew him as the messenger of Allah. Now we know him as the Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But if I was to live to be 1,000, I could never thank Allah enough personally for an example in our midst of what it is to be a man. You know, many of us never knew our fathers. Is that right?
That's
Y'all
right.
bear me witness. Tell me if I'm telling the truth now. And so, God and his messenger left one in our midst to remind us not of just what a father should be, but what a man should be.
That's right.
A beautiful black man, a Jesus, the Jesus in our midst.
Right.
I said that. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And we'll explain why we say he's the Jesus in our midst. Because he's a savior. Is that right?
That's right.
All praise is due to Allah. In their names and in the names of all of the righteous servants of God, we greet you in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
How's everyone feeling?
Fine, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I too am doing fine by Allah's mercy and grace. Just striving to make my word my bond. Now today, like Brother Gerald alluded to, our subject is self-improvement and healing the hood. Self-improvement and healing the hood. Now, it's a very timely subject, right?
Yes, sir.
Because last week, you know, the brothers, we went to the park and they had a Healing the Hood rally. Is that right?
That's right.
And man, it was beautiful.
It was.
It really was beautiful to see brothers from rival so-called gangs. I call them so-called gangs because they're not really gangs, they're street organizations. Is that right?
That's right.
Together, Crips, Bloods, you know, Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, you know, whoever, all the hoods was in that space.
That's right.
We didn't have a lot of the younger brothers though.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we need to do in terms of our outreaches. We have to reach out to those young ones. Is that right?
That's right.
Because they're the ones who really cutting up.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They're the ones who really don't see the value of uniting.
Yeah, that's right.
But what we need to do in order to unite is to improve ourselves. So thus the term self-improvement and healing the hood. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the man we just mentioned to you, and I'm going to give you a picture of the honorable Elijah Muhammad so you know exactly who we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
This young man right here.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful black man. I won't say he was because we believe him to be still alive and well. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
He is such a profound teacher that he gives us teachings in formulas.
Yes, sir.
He's a scientist. Y'all know scientists use formulas. Is that right?
That's right.
One of the formulas he gave us came in 6 words. The 6 most powerful words that a people could ever be given.
Yeah.
Accept your own and be yourself.
Yes, sir.
Now that sounds very simplistic, right? Accept your own and be yourself.
Yes, sir.
It sounds very simplistic, but you got to look deeply into it. What is your own? And who is yourself?
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Because many of us think that we know ourselves, but do we really?
No, sir.
True.
So when he came to us, he said, because we asked ourselves, well, who is yourself? He said, yourself is a righteous Muslim.
Yes, sir.
It's like, wait a minute, brother, I'm a Christian. All right. I don't know nothing about no Muslim. But you got to just define what that term means.
Yes, sir.
A Muslim just means one who submits his or her will to do the will of God. That's what a Muslim is. It's that simple.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So your own is a righteous Muslim, one who is striving to do the will of God. That's your own self. But that's very generic. That's very general in terms of who you actually are.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So when he says accept your own and be yourself, okay, yeah, you a righteous Muslim, right?
Yes,
By
sir.
nature. But who are you?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
See, that's the thing that many of us, even as Muslims, we struggle with.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know we're Muslims, but who are we?
Yeah.
Because when you are your natural self, you are your best self.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
When you are your natural self, you are doing for self.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You see what I'm saying? Because if you're doing for self, man, I'm talking about working for yourself. If you're doing for self, man, it's not even work.
Yeah. True.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It's not even work if you're doing for self because you're doing that which is natural.
Yeah.
You know, there was a story in the news this week, and this is just a tangent about being your natural self. There were some poachers in Africa, in South Africa. Brother Ahmad know where I'm going with this. But the poachers were hunting rhinos, right? And they kill the rhinos, and they just kill the rhino and they take his horn, because in his horn, in the East, African doctors find that this material in this horn is extremely precious, right? For their medical practices, it's more valuable than cocaine, they say.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead.
So these poachers, they hunting rhinos. Along the way, they run into an elephant.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The elephant, being his natural self, kills the poacher.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? I mean, because we see elephants, right, in the zoo, and they just moseying along, right?
Yeah.
You know, the gentle giants.
Right.
We see them in the circus, and they stand on them little buckets, you know. That ain't no natural elephant.
That's
No,
right.
sir.
That's right. Go ahead.
That is an elephant who has been taken out of his natural habitat and made into something else.
That's right. Come on. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But this natural elephant in South Africa killed the poacher.
Yeah.
Like hunted him and killed him. Like you hunting, I'm hunting.
Yeah. Yeah.
The poacher's partners, you know what I'm saying? They didn't want to take him out. They couldn't take him out, you know, so they left him on the side of the road so that passers-by could find him. But then a pride of natural lions came along and ate the poacher.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is a true story.
Sure is.
They ate the poacher.
Yeah.
And so when they came back to find his body, the only thing they found was a skull and a pair of pants.
Yeah.
He ate everything else.
Wow.
Being a natural self.
Yes, sir.
See, you and I have been taken out of our natural selves, so now we have to talk about self-improvement and we have to talk about healing the hood because the hood has become unbearable to live in.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Actual fact.
Is that right?
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
The hood has become a place where savages live.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Y'all know what a savage is?
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
Because that's a hell of a term. You a
Yeah.
savage. Especially when you talk about your own self is a righteous Muslim.
Yes, sir.
Right? Your nature is a righteous Muslim, but you've been taken so far out of yourself that now you a savage. We so savage that, you know, brother, I gotta share the story, right? we checked our brother and you know what I'm saying? And he understands, right? But we had to explain to him that, man, we gotta search in a time like this.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
We have to.
Have to.
It's imperative. Some devil just walked into a mosque in New Zealand, 2 mosques as a matter of fact, about a month ago, and killed 50 Muslims.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
Because they didn't check. Because he's a savage.
Yeah.
See, a savage is one who could do something like that. I got a term for you. We want to define this word so we know exactly what we're talking about. Savage. This is Mr. Webster's definition. Of an animal or force of nature. Fierce, violent, uncontrolled. Of something bad or negative, very great, severe. Right? That's Mr. Webster's definition. But as I was saying earlier, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, being the profound teacher that he is, gave us another definition of what a savage is. See if y'all can relate to this, or if y'all recognize this. We have a book of supreme wisdom, right?
Yes, sir.
These are lessons that are given to registered Muslims once we come into the nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
And it's really designed, if you understand the supreme wisdom, it's really designed to get us to think more mathematically. Are y'all listening?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
We're ruled by emotion, right? Which is why a lot of us are savages. Oh, nigga, you stepped on my shoe. You know what I'm saying? That's a savage, emotional way to think.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you got the wrong color on. Man, what kind of crazy stuff is that?
Come on, brother.
You got on blue or you got on red, so I'm going to kill you? That's savage behavior. Animal, man, fierce, violent, uncontrolled, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's at the root of it, it's emotional.
Right.
So the supreme wisdom teaches us to think more mathematically. So there's a lesson, supreme wisdom lesson number 1, question number 2. And it asks the question, why did Musa have a hard time to civilize the devil 2000 BC?
Go ahead.
Come on.
Right? And the answer is because he was a savage. A savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of himself and who is living a beast life.
Go ahead, brother.
Come on, brother.
Come on. Musa
Yes,
was
sir.
a half original man and a prophet.
Yes, sir.
2000 BC means before Christ. In the Asiatic world, it was the 11,000 year.
Come on.
Civilized means to teach the knowledge and wisdom of the family of the planet Earth. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Because he was a savage. That's the part I want to
Yes,
stick
sir.
with, though. And a savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of himself and who is living a beast life. This is why we need self-improvement.
Yes, sir.
Because we're running around and we're acting like savages because we've lost the knowledge of ourselves.
Yes, sir.
We don't know who we are. We don't know that the black man is actually God.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Say that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Say that.
So we acted way out of our own selves. We're running around with guns.
Come on.
And the only people we shoot is people who look like us.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Man, we just crazy. We so savage that our neighborhoods are over policed.
Yeah.
And what do the police have on their hip? They got a 9 or a Glock or a 40 cal. You know what I'm saying? They got a baton or a tongue file, or sometimes they even got nunchucks.
Yeah.
They got handcuffs. They got mace. They got a taser.
Come on, brother.
They got all of these instruments to deal with savages. They got all of these instruments that they use. Man, the same type of stuff you would have on your hip if you was in the jungle.
Right. Come on.
Is that right?
That's right.
If you was going to encounter some wild beasts.
Yeah.
This is the type of things that they roll around with on their hip. And then if that ain't enough in the car, they got a shotgun.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right? In the trunk, they pop it open. They got an M16 or an AR-15,
Yeah,
that's
which
right.
is the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
And they're supposed to police us.
Right.
Oh man, are y'all really thinking about this? Like, we're really treated as savages,
Yes, sir. Go
as
ahead.
animals. They put you in a cage. Don't get locked up. Oh my goodness. They put you in a cage, and depending on what you did, they're going to lock you up for 23 hours. 23-hour lockdown, you get an hour for, recreation. Is that right?
That's
Am I
right.
telling the truth?
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
They're treating a human being like that. Oh, man.
That's what they do.
Man. But we're here, all praise is due to Allah, because we want to help give you that knowledge of yourself so that you can improve yourself. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Self-improvement will heal the hood. And when we say hood, a hood is slang for our neighborhood, right? That's supposed to be our community. That's where we live, right? But a hood is also something that you cover your head with. Is that right?
That's right.
That's something you protect your head with. A hood. See, we got to heal the hood because we need to heal what's in our heads.
That's right.
We need to heal what's protecting our heads. Because whatever it is that we got going that's causing us to be savage and other than ourselves, man, that ain't the thing. You see what I'm saying? So we got to heal our hood. All praise is due to Allah. So, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he gave us a study guide.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Self-improvement is the basis for community development.
Yes, sir.
Self-improvement. Now, this man, this beautiful black man, let me tell you how this came about. Because this is really revelation. But in 1986, he gave a lecture in Phoenix of the same name. Self-improvement is the basis for community development.
Yes, sir.
And from that lecture was born 21 study guides.
That's right.
This is 10 through 18 right here.
Yes, sir.
But it's actually 21 study guides, right? That help us to improve ourselves. Because it's all about self. You got to learn who you are in order to help yourself, in order to help your family, in order to help your community,
Yes, sir.
and in order to help your nation.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Because if you are an underdeveloped person, you can't even help yourself.
That's right.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? If you're an undeveloped person, then we're going to look to other things to make us better or to help us. See, a person who has knowledge of self, who knows who they really are, the only thing you need in this life, brothers and sisters, is God.
It's true.
God is the ultimate grantor of security.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Go
But
ahead.
because we have been lost from our natural selves, because we have been destroyed by an enemy, because they took us from our natural civilized state and brought us over here, and then they made us into animals. They made us into savages. They made us into beasts by their treatment of
Yes,
us.
sir.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Because of that, we don't know who we are. And because of that, now we're stuck, depending on any and everything other than God. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Look, man, that's why we turn to drugs.
Yes, sir, brother. Go ahead.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's why we turn to alcohol. That's why we turn to a man or to a woman.
Yes, sir.
It's because we don't have enough faith in God.
Go ahead, man.
I want you to think that over, man.
Yes, sir.
Just marinate on that for a minute.
Yes, sir.
The reason why we turn to anything else is because there's a void that we're trying to fill within our own selves because God is not there. We're not conscious that He's actually there. We're just not conscious of Him being there. Because God don't leave us, brothers and sisters.
Right.
Ever. We leave Him.
That's right.
God, in the Holy Quran, Allah says that He's closer to us than our life vein or our jugular vein. It don't get no closer than that. That's right here. If God is that close, then how could we ever feel forsaken? Except for we don't have knowledge that He's there. So self-improvement is the basis for community development.
sir. That's
Once
right.
we begin to learn who we are, we don't have to depend on nothing and no one else.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right. Go ahead.
He's the ultimate grantor of security.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Go ahead, brother.
All praise is due to Allah. And the thing is, man, self-improvement, the way that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is teaching us, will take us from a nigger to a God.
Go ahead.
That's right.
brother. Go ahead.
In that much time.
That's
That's what
right.
it does.
That's right. That's right.
I gotta tell you.
That's what it does.
I gotta tell you, it'll take you from a nigga to a guy in that much time just by studying this man's study guide.
Yes, sir.
You know, Brother Gerald talked about our brother, and this, and, you know, man, honoring our brother Nipsey Hussle. And, man, I was kind of taken aback when the brother passed. I really was.
Yes, sir.
And people are questioning, like, why is this brother so important?
Go ahead, man.
Why are the street organizations coming together based upon the passing of this one brother who was a rolling 60s Crip, a son of an Eritrean father and an African American mother?
Yeah, go ahead.
A West Coast rapper who got a gang of mixtapes, but he only got one album that was nominated for a Grammy, as a matter of fact.
Yes, sir.
Why is he so important? Why is his death moving? Why were his services held at the Staples Center,
Right. Wow.
where it was 21,000 people there?
Yeah.
The last person to have their services at the Staples Center was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's right. That's right.
Think about that now. Why is he so important? We were talking in our FOI class about, you know, just being our natural selves. Is that right, brothers?
That's right.
And how we're more powerful when we are our natural selves. That our power is really in our righteousness.
Yes,
That's
sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in this hour, your righteousness, that will be the only thing that will sustain you.
Hey.
Ooh, that's right.
Yeah.
So, in reflecting on our brother, Nipsey Hussle, what was so powerful about him wasn't just his music. Because his music was good now. I mean, and I'm not even a West Coast dude, you know what I'm saying? but brother got some good stuff, man. He got
Yes,
some
sir.
anthem music, you
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
But like I said, he just had one album. He didn't even have as many albums as Biggie or Pop.
That's right.
Just got one. But what it was, brothers and sisters, what makes this brother's life so powerful is he was what we wanted our rappers to be.
Yes, sir. That's right.
I'm going to say that again.
Say it
A little bit
again,
of
brother. Say
explanation.
it again.
He was what we want our rappers and entertainers to be.
Yes, sir.
And what I mean by that is he didn't just take his money and go buy him a big house in Baldwin Hills and just disappear, come out and just show up at the Grammys or show up at, you know what I'm saying, award shows or whatnot and do his thing. Nah, he didn't do that. The brother took his money and he reinvested in the hood.
That's right.
The brother, man, look, this brother, like brother said, he brought up the whole block. He brought up a strip.
Yes, sir.
And the people, there's stories in the Final Call newspaper. You definitely got to get this paper if you don't have it. Where, you know, they would brothers at the owners of the restaurant that he used to go to, you know what I'm saying, would basically discriminate, put his partners out of the spot.
Yeah.
He bought the restaurant.
Yeah, that's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So now he makes this brother his tenant, but let him stay there. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
He was reinvesting in the hood. He started a STEM program. Y'all know what a STEM program is?
Yes, sir.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah, that's right.
For free, right?
Yes, sir.
He was reinvesting in the hood. He was what we want our rappers to be. He had improved himself.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir. Go ahead. Selfie.
At one point, he lacked knowledge, and he's a rolling 60s Crip. And that's the thing about being in LA. If you ever been in California, whatever hood you in, I don't care how you try and rise above it.
Yeah.
You associated.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
affiliated.
That's right.
Because that's your neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
And the gang culture is so thick in LA, it's like you can't avoid it.
Yeah.
You really can't. We could go to LA tomorrow and be in the mosque. And then brothers who's in the ranks, FOI, still got affiliation.
That's right. That's right.
You feel what I'm saying? So he was in a circumstance, but he rose above that circumstance that made him a savage and improved himself. In large part because of his association with the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Go ahead.
I want y'all to listen now. Nipsey Hussle. He improved himself. And unfortunately, Allah's the best knower. But he was taken out by another brother.
Yes, sir.
Right? Another brother who actually was in his own hood. Another so-called rolling 60s.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was taken out. As much as we like to believe and subscribe to conspiracy theories, there's really no evidence to support that.
That's right.
I don't know if there was a greater hand involved in the brother's murder, but from the tape that I seen, the brother came up, shot him and his partners.
Yeah, that's right.
Went back, walked a few steps, came back, shot him again. Went back, came back, shot him again, and then kicked him in the head.
Yeah.
A horrific death. But with that kick to the head, that was the most revealing part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because what that was about, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said this at his services, was about jealousy and envy.
Envy and jealousy. Yeah.
That was about jealousy and envy.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And that's a dangerous thing.
Yes, sir.
And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his study guide,
Go ahead.
dealing with self-improvement, in study guide number 17,
Yes, sir.
it's called Hypocrisy and Conspiracy. But what it deals with is jealousy and envy.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Jealousy and envy are the most ugly traits that a human being could possess. Because it was jealousy and envy. I'm going to go into the scripture now.
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
That made Judas betray Jesus.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Did you all know that?
Come on.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't the 30 pieces of silver. It was jealousy and envy. Say, prove that, brother. Judas, just like Jesus, was a revolutionary.
That's right.
That's right.
He was tried and true. You know what I'm saying? He was rocking with the master. But there came a point where Jesus got a command from his superior officer, which was God himself, that it wasn't about just the children of Israel.
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all search the scriptures.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jesus was betraying the mission. But it really was envy that God gave Jesus the instruction as opposed to giving him the instruction. And so the authorities came and said, look, man, we give you 30 pieces of silver to do this. He's like, all right.
That's right. Go ahead.
But the lesson in it is the betrayal was so deep that once Judas recognized what he had done, he couldn't even live with himself. He killed himself.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
that right?
That's right.
Yes.
So, jealousy and envy are the worst traits. Envy, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us, is the mother of murder.
That's right.
That's right.
Because an envious person, man, he don't, man, look. It's not that he is mad at you for the gifts that you have.
Go ahead.
The envious person not mad at you. He mad at God.
God.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You see what I'm saying? So he'll take you out. He'll shoot you and kick you in the head.
Yeah.
Because he mad at God. He's mad at God because why didn't you give that gift to me, God?
Come on, come on.
Go ahead.
That's at the root of it.
Yes,
why
sir.
didn't you give that gift to me? So jealousy and envy, man, is a dangerous, dangerous thing.
Right.
A dangerous, dangerous thing. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like I said, he addresses that in this study guide, number 17. And look, I just want to read something out of this. And this is part 3. And the minister asked the question, why do I write a study guide on hypocrisy and conspiracy at this juncture? Even as the rod of Aaron budded and the rods of his pretenders did not, creating more intense hatred in them of Aaron, even as Jesus did what the leadership of the day was not unable to do, but were prevented from doing by the envious condition of their hearts and minds. I write this study guide at this time to warn the followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and black people in general that the plot thickens, the conspiracy broadens, the secret councils are taking place.
Yes, sir.
People are being drawn into the conspiracy through ignorance, and others are drawing them into the conspiracy knowingly and deliberately. The sin of ignorance is the dissatisfaction with the apparent slowness of Allah God's reward for faithful servants. I have put forth this study guide that we may not fall victim to history. Dispelling ignorance with knowledge can save the unwitting dissatisfied from becoming part of the conspiracy. But those moved by envy and hatred cannot be turned aside with knowledge. In the case of Judas, it was not the 30 pieces of silver that were important. It was the envy and hatred of the one he betrayed that moved him. Oh, man. Disappointment and dissatisfaction precede treachery. Ooh.
Yeah.
Very few persons can even imagine themselves in the place of such a wretched individual as Jesus. But envy and hatred grew over a period of time. No one is beyond the capacity to become a Judas. Everyone experiences disappointment and or dissatisfaction at some time or another. It is how we handle it that determines our direction.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Go ahead.
By what process, we may ask, was the mercenary disposition of Judas converted into hatred against Jesus? The process was that of disappointment. When Jesus became convinced that all the years of his connection with Jesus and the disciples had been lost, his will became embittered and his resentment was aroused. In the denseness of his ignorance and the baseness of his soul, he probably thought that Jesus had deceived his followers as to his true mission. And he felt enraged because he had been duped. He had looked forward to worldly promotion and success. He had finally hoped that the eloquence of Jesus would call around him revolutionaries who would drive the Romans from Judea and establish the long-looked-for kingdom. Oh, man.
Go ahead,
That's
brother. Go
happening.
ahead.
And so that type of disappointment and dissatisfaction is what drove that brother to kill our brother. And so we have to guard against that.
Yes, sir.
And knowledge of self-improvement is the way that we guard against that. here's what happens when you know yourself. When you know yourself, and you know that whatever gift that Allah has given, brother or sister, that gift belongs to them.
That's right.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That's right, brother.
I'm going to say that again.
Go ahead.
Whatever gift that Allah has given to that brother or that sister, that gift belongs to them.
That's right.
You can't have it.
Go ahead, brother.
No matter how you feel, you can't have it. But guess what? They can't have yours either.
That's
right.
That's right.
I mean, think that over now. It's about recognizing the gifts that Allah has given you. See, our problem is, a lot of times, man, we don't recognize our own gifts.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we busy looking at our brother or our sisters.
That's right.
When all we got to do is concentrate on, man, what did Allah give me?
Come
Yeah.
on.
That's right.
Yeah, good. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because when you work on what Allah gives you, then, man, you're going to stand out. Because that gift from God, man, you know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that every single one of us has something, some gift that we have that each one of us can perform perfectly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Perfectly.
Perfect.
So you got to find that gift, man. Look, I don't have no time to be envying somebody else.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to look for mine.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Because self-improvement involves a little selfishness.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You got to look at yourself.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Man, you better know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, somebody can come along and they can use you as a tool and a slave.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Because you don't know yourself, you don't recognize your gifts, so I'm going to use whatever I recognize in you to serve me.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what our enemies have been doing to us for the past 464 years.
Yeah, that's right.
They have been using our gifts to serve them.
That's right.
So Nipsey stands out because, man, he used his gift to serve his people.
Yes, sir.
And that is the most beautiful type of servant you can have.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's a person who uses their gift to give life to their brothers and sisters. So I had some people coming to the barbershop and brother was upset, man. He's like, they comparing Nipsey to Jesus.
Yeah.
It was hot, man. Like, hey, you can't compare him to no Jesus. And I'm like, why not?
That's not a bad comparison.
Come on.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Why not? And I asked the brother straight up, I'm like, look, brother, is Jesus not your example?
Yeah.
Right.
If you're a Christian, isn't Jesus supposed to be your example?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that ain't. I said, whoa, hold on now, wait a minute. If the brother is following the example of Christ, and he's doing what Christ would want him to do, why couldn't you compare him to Jesus?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's right.
What's wrong with that?
No.
Yes, sir.
See, we so spooky in our thinking,
That's right.
and we put Jesus way out there in space
Go
somewhere.
ahead. Go ahead.
Unreachable. We can't. We don't want to compare him to Jesus because what that does when we say Nipsey is being like Jesus, then that puts the onus on us. It's like, okay, well, damn, if he could be like Jesus, then guess what, Negro, you could be like Jesus too.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
Come on.
right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And we don't want that responsibility.
No, sir.
Oh man. So, man, our brother, man, I'm thankful to Allah for our brother, and his contributions need to be studied.
Yes, sir.
And you know, they talk about Big, they talk about Pac, and of course we remember and we honor those brothers as well. But Tupac was on some revolutionary stuff as well.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
See, understanding, man, that our righteousness, brothers and sisters, the nature in which Allah created us, is the only way that we will ever achieve immortality.
Yes, sir.
Brother said it right. After we die, it's a wrap. That body is gone.
Yeah,
Never
that's
to be
right.
seen again.
That's right.
But you can achieve immortality through your deeds.
That's right.
Right.
you can achieve immortality the same way that Moses achieved immortality.
That's right.
The same way that we say that we are the seed of Abraham, he achieved immortality. The same way, we're talking about Jesus, he achieved immortality.
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, he's not coming in the cloud. He's not.
Right.
He's not. But we can achieve immortality by our righteousness.
Yes, sir.
Another thing we brought up at our class, brothers, I'm sure in our class. Muhammad Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, is not the greatest of all time just because of what he did in the ring.
That's right.
We call him the greatest of all time because of what he did outside of the ring.
Yes,
Is that right?
That's right.
We call him the greatest of all time because he told the devil straight in his face, like, man, them Vietcong not my enemy. You my enemy.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Vietcong never called me nigga.
Come
Is
on.
that right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was because of what he did outside of the ring.
Yes, sir.
LeBron, in my view, we're going to get some arguments, maybe.
Come on.
Go ahead, sir.
Put it out there, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got to say it, though, man. LeBron is way above Michael Jordan.
That's right.
I don't, no comparison.
Go ahead.
That's right.
That's right.
Michael Jordan ain't never did nothing for his people.
That's right.
He played ball, okay. But, man, LeBron opened up schools, man.
Yeah, that's
Come
right.
on.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
LeBron took every brother that was in his hood, we're talking about healing the hood, and he put those brothers all around him, put them through school so that they could manage his affairs.
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
right. That's
And
right.
put them all in business. See, that's living up to your potential.
Yeah.
That is being Jesus-like. That is being Muhammad-like. Is that right?
That's right.
That is self-improvement.
Self-improvement.
Come on.
That is healing
Yes,
the
sir.
hood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can't heal the hood, man, just by doing something for yourself. The only way that we'll ever be recognized, man, in terms of our contribution to humanity is if we do something for humanity. Is that right?
That's right.
That's the only way we'll achieve immortality.
Yes, sir.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Now, that is the key to immortality, is serving God. That is the key. There is no other way. You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, let me give you a picture of our beautiful brother, because he's our example. And I said it earlier. I said it, that he's the Jesus in our midst today.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
I said that. I said that and I stand on that. I say that till the cows come home. Because this man saves.
That's right.
Ain't that what Jesus do?
That's
Jesus
right.
saves.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't tell me about some man 2,000 years ago that saved you.
That's right.
You wasn't here 2,000 years
That's
ago.
right.
How the hell are you going to save you?
Yeah.
You wasn't even born.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
Right.
You don't know what he looked like. You don't
That's
know whether
right.
he's black or white. You can go with the scripture, right? But the pictures they show you, he sure ain't black.
That's right.
He white as white could be, right?
Right.
But you can't prove that that man saved you. In fact, if that's him, if that's Jesus, I don't want no savior like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Is he literally flying in that?
I don't want no savior that look like that, man. Because these are the same people that we done caught hell from for 400 plus years.
Come on.
That's right.
I don't want no savior that look like that. You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But that's a fallacy, that's a fantasy that they sold us, man. You know what I'm saying? In order to believe in them. But this man, Farrakhan, this man actually saved us.
That's right.
That's right.
He actually saved me. I can say it. I can say that before I heard him, man, I was blind. I couldn't see. I was deaf, couldn't hear, dumb, couldn't speak. Man, I was dead. I I was dead,
Go
as
ahead.
were
Go ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
I was savage,
Yes, sir.
as were you. I was depending on Muhammad is because we've been in this country for 80 plus years, right? We don't carry no weapons.
That's right.
There have been attacks on our mosques and, you know, in different cities, and we always ended up with the weapons.
Yeah.
That's right. Come on.
That's right.
Tell the truth.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
I'm just being real with you. And the Nation of Islam is the only organization that the government was unable to destroy.
The only man standing.
The last man
Yes, sir.
standing.
Yes,
Come
sir.
on.
God, the universe, and nature. God is with us. And the universe is with us.
Come on.
Because the truth that we, because y'all know universe simply means, in the etymology of the word universe means one truth. Is that right?
Go ahead, brother.
God, the universe, and nature. That one truth is an invincible truth. Are y'all listening?
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, man, for 40 years amongst us. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been teaching for 64 years amongst us, and they've never been defeated in an argument.
Come on. Come on. Tell the truth.
The universe, right? The universal truth, the invincible truth. And nature. Every time the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, watch the weather. You better look out. Because you about to see some rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes. The four great judgments of Allah. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Every single time he say watch the weather, after he get out, the weather gets down.
Yes, it does.
You see what I'm saying? Every single time, just watch it and just look at the history of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
All praise be to Allah. So we don't need no guns, brothers. Guns don't make us powerful. Guns make us into savages.
Sir.
I just gotta say it. And the Caucasian, you know, we put our faith in these guns, but the Caucasian would never allow us to have a gun that's bigger than his.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So all of the street organizations and all the little pop guns that they got, man, the devil come in with a helicopter gunship, it's over.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? You got a helicopter gunship, he come with an F-15. It's over. You got an F-15, he come with a nuclear or a hydrogen bomb. It's over. You see what I'm saying? So you can't beat the devil with guns.
That's right.
You can't beat the devil with weapons of this world. The only thing that you can beat the devil at is righteousness. Because he's not right at all.
That's right.
Right.
So when you are righteous, then you got guns. You got God, the universe, and nature.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All praises due to
Go
Allah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Now, before we get out of here, because we're running up on out of time, I want to thank you all for coming out. I wanted to just take a little bit of time, because our student Western Regional Minister, Brother Tony Muhammad, who has done great works in the city of Los Angeles. And I don't know if you all follow him on Instagram or Facebook, but if you don't, you really should. He gave before the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan arrived in Los Angeles for Nipsey's funeral, he gave just a short little talk outside of Nipsey's Marathon store. And I mean, it was so powerful, brothers and sisters, it gave me chills. You know what I'm saying? It was that powerful.
Yes, sir.
And that timely. But by Allah's grace, man, our brother, and that's Student Minister Tony right there with the Honorable Minister
Yes,
Louis
sir.
Farrakhan. He received his holy name,
Yes, sir.
Brother Abdul Malik Muhammad. Praise be to Allah.
All praise
Yes,
be
sir.
to Allah.
Also, with that, brother, I neglected to tell you, Abdul Malik Saeed.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Abdul Malik Saeed Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to to Allah.
Yes,
And so those who don't understand the significance of that, oh man, it's just so powerful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, we all, when we come into the nation of Islam, we receive an X. Is that right?
That's right.
We receive an X. And an X represents that we're Xing out our slave master's name,
Yeah.
and that we are now a part of the kingdom of God.
That's
Is that
right.
But along the way in our journey, there is an attribute that each and every one of us has. Remember I talked about that perfect gift?
Yes, sir.
There is a gift that you have that is from Allah. That is your attribute. Allah has 99 attributes, right?
Yes, sir.
And they're names. So there's a man going around taking names. Is that right?
That's right. Take it.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that man is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gives you a name, like, man, Abdul, Malik, Saeed, Muhammad. Oh, man, that's powerful. And just to give you a little clarity on what that means, Abdul means servant.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Malik or Malik means king.
King. That's right.
Saeed means, what is it, teacher?
Teacher.
Yeah, it's teacher. It's a form of teacher. There's Wazir and there's Saeed. Saeed is like a more of a spiritual teacher. And yeah, and Wazir means minister. Yes, ma'am. And Muhammad, of course, means, you know, one who's worthy of praise and praise much. So that's an honor that was bestowed on our brother. And man, I'm just so thankful to Allah that, you know, brother Minister Abdul Malik or Malik is our Western Regional Minister and representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And again, I just want to give him a hand clap for receiving. Yes, sir.
Like you said, he's going around taking names.
Yes, sir.
He gave Brother Keith in Oakland, Abdul, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Shakur.
Praise be to Allah.
And
Praise
then, of course,
be
the
to
woman,
Allah.
the wife, you know, gets the name also.
Right.
So his wife is Malika.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother
Praise
Tony's
be to
wife is
Allah.
Malika.
Malika.
Saeed Muhammad.
Praise Allah.
Yeah.
So man, that's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. You all are beautiful. And I gotta say, look, we at that time, but the thing I want us to take away from this whole thing is self-improvement. We all need to, yes ma'am.
I just wanted to say thank y'all for allowing me to be here.
Yes ma'am.
Erin brought me with her today, and it was a miracle for me because I've been to about every kind of church you can think of except this kind, and it made more sense to me than what you said in an hour.
Praise be to Allah. Yes ma'am.
Felt welcome.
Awesome. Praise
Thank you very
Allah.
much.
Thank you and
Welcome.
welcome.
This was a blessing for me. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
I mean, this is really cool.
And I want to say just on that wise, in terms of self-improvement, it is a course of study, and it is a process that we're all undertaking, right? None of us is a finished product. None of us is where it is that we want to be, or that Allah wants to take us. You see what I'm saying? But it's a course of study, and it's a process that we undergo. And so I want to invite everybody out to our study classes Wednesday at 7:30, Friday at 7:30, where we take that study, self-improvement, the basis for community development,
Yes, sir.
and we try and get the best understanding that we can. And most importantly, we're trying to apply, right?
Yes, sir.
Striving to apply everything it is that we learn in that course of study. All right? So that's the thing that I wanted to do, was invite you all to that, of course. And I want to leave you, because it is that time. But I want to thank you for coming out. And I'm going to leave you using the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Now we do allow and we do have a little bit of time for questions. So in the Nation of Islam, we don't want you to just take what it is that we say and just because I'm up here saying it. You know what I'm saying? We want you to research. We want you to question. We want you to be comfortable with what it is that you take on. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So at this time, are there any questions? Any questions? Sister Aaron?
This doesn't necessarily touch too much the subject that we were talking about today, but this past week I got in a couple of arguments. I got kind of angry because people want to tell me that Brother Farrakhan killed Malcolm X.
Okay.
And so how do I respond to that without kind of basically belittling him?
Okay. Very good question. Okay, so her question was, there's some people who came here and said that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan participated or killed Malcolm X. And the best way, there are actually, I mean, no one could defend the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan better than he could defend himself, right? And so there's lectures that are on YouTube that they could go and check out. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, 28 years later, that's one that comes right to mind, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan explains exactly what happened to Brother Malcolm. The other thing that I would say with that regard is, as powerful as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is,
That's right. Go ahead.
if he had anything to do with Malcolm X's death, I mean, just think logically how the enemy would have been came against him.
Yeah, that's right.
You see what I'm saying? So he's the only game in town, and they know that nothing stands up in terms of any charges against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Here's a man, and I got to say this, man, about him, because he's not perfect, right? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But he's perfect enough for us.
That's right, sir.
That's right.
I just gotta say it. But here's a brother who's never been convicted of any sort of crime. I don't think the minister's ever even had a speeding ticket. You see what I'm saying? So when you got a person like that whose character is impeccable, to place a charge like murder on him, I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, come on.
I feel offended when you say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the best way it is, like I said, is just direct them to a lecture like that, and wish them some peace and walk away. Because some of our people are just ignorant.
That's right.
Right?
Yes,
And the best way that we can help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is to be like him.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so the way to be like him is, especially with regards to our people, a lot of our people are ignorant. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to counter ignorance with more ignorance.
That's right.
A lot of times the best thing to do is to wish them peace and walk away.
Isn't that logic though? Like Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Right.
Get them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, like,
Right. And certain things, you know, we get to a certain level to where, you know, certain arguments I'm just not gonna have.
Yeah.
I'm just not. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
right.
come on, man. Like, for real. And you give them a little tidbit of wisdom and just keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? That's the best way to handle it, because we are striving to follow him, because he is the example in our midst. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the Christians wear the little bracelets, say WW. Why am I doing that? Because if you can't give yourself a reasonable explanation as to why you're doing a certain thing and how it benefits you, you shouldn't be doing it. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm eating the wrong foods, it's like, man, why am I doing that? Because it tastes good? Well, now I'm being a savage, right? Because a savage operates only upon their appetite.
Come on.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Why am I drinking that? Why am I smoking that? Am I getting any benefit from that, really? If the answer is no, you shouldn't be doing it. You see what I'm saying? So that's the most important question that you can ask yourself is, why am I doing this thing? Because that causes you to begin examining your own self.
Come on. Right.
And self-examination is going to lead to, at the end of the day, if you're sincere about it and you're sincere about wanting to change, self-examination is the first step towards healing.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about healing the hood, right?
Yes, sir.
Healing what's in here. You got to look at it. And that's going to help you on that journey. Because every element that we have, forget a drug, forget a doctor. Every element that we have in truth, if we're our own natural selves, we can heal ourselves.
That's right.
That's what Jesus said, physician.
You see what I'm saying? But it's got to start here. And you got to be honest with yourself. You can't be dishonest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't lie to yourself. Lying to yourself, man, man, that's probably one of the most hurtful things you can do. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't hurting nobody but you. So, examine yourself. Ask yourself that question, why? And then make movements to change. Okay? Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Brother Victor?
So, the Maliki, that's the same like the Fatiha said, Maliki on the beat, is Lord of the worlds. When you said it means king, is that the same word?
Yes. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Any other questions? Praise be to Allah. Okay, so we got a few questions. How many here for your first, second, or third time? Raise your hands. Praise be to Allah. Next question is, how many of you, after hearing what you heard taught here today, believe that it is true and is good for our people? If you believe that it's true and it's good for our people, let's see by a show of hands. Praise Allah. It is true. It is good for our people. Last question requires a little bit of action, but please don't be scared. You amongst your brothers and sisters. The last question is, if you believe that what you heard is true and is good for our people, and you would like to stand up, learn more, and help us to get this truth over to our people, please stand right where you are.
Stand up.
Stand on up.
Yes, sir.
Jennifer, nice to meet you. I did meet you before, didn't I?
You're familiar. Your face is familiar. Okay, I couldn't place you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, praise be to Allah. Well, Sister Hatshepsut has some forms for you all. Let's give those sisters another round. Praise be to Allah. Family. That's all we have. We do have some announcements, but before we get to those announcements, they did talk about having another Healing the Hood rally today. Did you brothers know anything about that today? Right there? You ever heard anything?
Yes.
They had talked about it, but I don't know if they solidified it. Yes, sir.
From what I heard, sir, they were supposed to be doing it at City Park.
Yes, sir. I haven't seen anything. I've been looking though, but I'm gonna look again and see. Because we, yes, sir.
Yeah, they're doing it.
They're doing it? Okay, praise be to Allah. All right, so if we can, let's get with Brother James and let's definitely make our way down there to be a part of that. But again, family, thank you all. We're going to go into our next phase, which is charity and announcements. I want to bring up our beautiful Brother Gerald Muhammad, who will take us in the next phase. Again, thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.